Chapter 4. Perfect knowledge, or knowledge of reality. Then Mahamati asked the Blessed One, "Pray tell us, Blessed One, about the 5 Dharmas so that we may fully understand perfect knowledge." The Blessed One replied, "The 5 Dharmas are appearance, name, discrimination. Right knowledge and reality by appearance is meant that which reveals itself to the senses and to the discriminating mind and is perceived as form, sound, odor, taste, and touch. Out of these appearances, ideas are formed, such as clay, water, jar, etc., by which one says, 'This is such and such a thing, and is no other.' This is name when appearances are contrasted and names compared. As when we say, 'This is an elephant. This is a horse, a cart, a pedestrian, a man, a woman,' or 'This is mind and what belongs to it.' The things thus named are said to be discriminated, as these discriminations come to be seen as mutually conditioning, as empty of self-substance, as unborn, non-dual, and thus come to be seen as they truly are. That is, as manifestations of the mind itself. This is right knowledge. By it the wise cease to regard appearances and names as realities. When appearances and names are put away and all discrimination ceases, that which remains is the true and essential nature of things, and as nothing can be predicated as to the nature of essence, it is called the suchness of reality, this universal, undifferentiated, inscrutable. Suchness is the only reality, but it is variously characterized as truth. Mind essence, transcendental intelligence, noble wisdom, etc. This Dharma of the imagelessness of the essence nature of ultimate reality is the Dharma which has been proclaimed by all the Buddhas, and when all things are understood in full agreement with it, one is in possession of perfect knowledge and is on his way to the attainment of the transcendental intelligence of the Tathagatas. Then Mahamati said to the Blessed One, "Are the 3 self-natures of things, ideas, and reality to be considered as included in the 5 Dharmas, or as having their own characteristics complete in themselves?" The Blessed One replied, "The 3 self-natures, the 8-fold mind system, and the 2-fold egolessness are all included in the 5 Dharmas. The self-natures of things, of ideas, and of the 6-fold mind system correspond to the Dharmas of appearance, name, and discrimination. The self-nature of universal mind and reality corresponds to the Dharmas of right knowledge and suchness. By becoming attached to what is seen of the mind itself, there is an activity awakened which is perpetuated by habit energy that becomes manifest in the mind system. From the activities of the mind system there arises the notion of an ego soul and its belongings. The discriminations, attachments, and notion of an ego soul rising simultaneously like the sun and its rays of light. By the egolessness of things is meant that the elements that make up the aggregates of personality and its objective world being characterized by the nature of Maya and destitute of anything that can be called ego substance, are therefore unborn and have no self-nature. How can things be said to have an ego soul? By the egolessness of persons is meant that in the aggregates that make up personality, there is no ego substance, nor anything that is like ego substance, nor that belongs to it. The mind system, which is the most characteristic mark of personality, originated in ignorance, discrimination, desire, and deed. And its activities are perpetuated by perceiving, grasping, and becoming attached to objects as if they were real. The memory of these discriminations, desires, attachments, and deeds is stored in the universal mind since beginningless time, and is still being accumulated where it conditions the appearance of personality and its environment, and brings about constant change and destruction from moment to moment. The manifestations are like a river, a seed, a lamp, a cloud, the wind, universal mind in its voraciousness to store up everything. Is like a monkey never at rest, like a fly ever in search of food and without partiality, like a fire that is never satisfied, like a water-lifting machine that goes on rolling universal mind as defiled by habit energy, is like a magician that causes phantom things and people to appear and move about. A thorough understanding of these things is necessary to an understanding of the egolessness of persons. There are 4 kinds of knowledge: appearance knowledge, relative knowledge, perfect knowledge, and transcendental intelligence. Appearance knowledge belongs to the ignorant and simple-minded who are addicted to the notion of being and non-being, and who are frightened at the thought of being unborn. It is produced by the concordance of the triple combination and attaches itself to the multiplicities of objects. It is characterized by attainability and accumulation. It is subject to birth and destruction. Appearance knowledge belongs to wordmongers who revel in discriminations, assertions, and negations. Relative knowledge belongs to the mind world of the philosophers. It rises from the mind's ability to consider the relations which appearances bear to each other, and to the mind considering them. It rises from the mind's ability to arrange, combine, and analyze these relations by its powers of discursive logic and imagination, by reason of which it is able to peer into the meaning and significance of things. Perfect knowledge belongs to the world of the bodhisattvas who recognize that all things are but manifestations of mind, who clearly understand the emptiness, the unbornness, the egolessness of all things, and who have entered into an understanding of the 5 Dharmas, the twofold egolessness, and into the truth of imagelessness. Perfect knowledge differentiates the bodhisattva stages and is the pathway and the entrance into the exalted state of self-realization, of noble wisdom. Perfect knowledge belongs to the bodhisattvas who are entirely free from the dualisms of being and non-being. No birth and no annihilation, all assertions and negations, and who, by reason of self-realization, have gained an insight into the truths of egolessness and imagelessness. They no longer discriminate the world as subject to causation. They regard the causation that rules the world as something like the fabled city of the Gandharvas. To them the world is like a vision and a dream. It is like the birth and death of a barren woman's child. To them there is nothing evolving and nothing disappearing. The wise who cherish perfect knowledge may be divided into 3 classes: disciples, masters, and arhats. Common disciples are separated from masters as common disciples continue to cherish the notion of individuality and generality. Masters rise from common disciples when, forsaking the error of individuality and generality, they still cling to the notion of an ego soul, by reason of which they go off by themselves into retirement. And solitude arhats rise when the error of all discrimination is realized. Error being discriminated by the wise turns into truth by virtue of the turning about that takes place within the deepest consciousness. Mind, thus emancipated, enters into perfect self-realization of noble wisdom. But Mahamati, if you assert that there is such a thing as noble wisdom, it no longer holds good, because anything of which something is asserted thereby partakes of the nature of being, and is thus characterized with the quality of birth of every assertion. All things are unborn destroys the truthfulness of it. The same is true of the statements. All things are empty and all things have no self-nature. Both are untenable when put in the form of assertions. But when it is pointed out that all things are like a dream and a vision, it means that in one way things are perceived, and in another way they are not perceived. That is, in ignorance they are perceived, but in perfect knowledge they are not perceived. All assertions and negations being thought constructions are unborn. Even the assertion that universal mind and noble wisdom are ultimate. Reality is a thought construction and therefore is unborn as things. There is no universal mind, there is no noble wisdom, there is no ultimate reality. The insight of the wise who move about in the realm of imagelessness, and its solitude is pure. That is, for the wise all things are wiped away, and even the state of imagelessness ceases to exist.